Blame Truth here. I'm not the Codfather today. I will be reviewing Evil Dead Rise in this video, just trying something new. I'd like to bring you guys more content this month, so if you like this, even though it's not video games, I mean, Call of Duty's kind of dead in the water, just drop a like rating. Evil Dead Rise, man, I reviewed Halloween Ends when it came out several months ago, and I will leave that at the end of this video if you want to check that out. I'll probably pin it in the pinned comment as well if you want to check that out. And that video got a decent response. I will be in the minority in this video, though, because we all kind of jumped on the Halloween Ends hate bandwagon when that came out, and rightfully so. What a terrible, terrible end to that trilogy. But I might be in the minority here. I went into this movie completely blind, and before I even get into the review of Evil Dead Rise, I just want to say that I'm not picky when it comes to horror movies. I've probably seen more bad 80s horror movies than most people have seen movies, and I'm not even exaggerating there. I think I've seen so many B trash movies. Just recently, I watched the new Scream. I liked it. I watched Men. I liked it. I watched Infinity Pool. I liked it. I watched X. I liked it. Like I'm not picky. I'm really not picky. I can sit down and watch every Friday the 13th movie in one sitting. I've done it before, and I can find something good about them, and I can enjoy them for what they are. This movie, however, I don't know what it was, man. It just rubbed me the wrong way, and I just kind of want to rant about it. And if you guys don't know, I mean, yeah, I'm the Codfather in this channel. I cover Call of Duty and video games and stuff like that, but I'm a lifelong horror fan, and it's not a side I really show here that often, but man, I love horror movies. I love B horror movies. I love trash horror movies. I love any kind of horror movie, really. This movie fucking sucked, and I'm sorry for those that liked it, but it fucking sucked. I'm gonna, if you're stretched for time, I'm just gonna say, have you seen the Evil Dead remake? I think that came out in what, 2013. Have you seen that? If you've seen that, there's no fucking point to this movie, because that movie is just a better version of this movie with a better setting. It's in the original, cabin setting. And, I do applaud them for trying something different here, and I applaud them for making it kind of make sense. But it's like they spent so much time trying to get it out of the cabin and have it kind of make sense that they failed to write anything else with meaning. They failed to make meaningful characters. They failed to have any sort of plot points that mattered. They failed to make me fucking care. I will get into that in a second here, but the movie does start out pretty promising. It does start out in a cabin in the woods, kind of near a lake. There's a guy with a drone being an asshole. There's some gore. There's some deadites. There's a really cool opening cinematic text. It looks great, but it's cock tease. It's cock tease because the movie doesn't take place here. No, it takes place in a shitty apartment complex. If you're stretched for time, just watch the intro after the opening, little, graphic plays that shows the name of the movie. Fast forward to the very end, and then just watch the credits, and then that's it. That's really all you need, because man, this movie is boring. It is boring. So after the intro, which is admittedly really cool, we go to a shitty apartment complex, like I said earlier. And there are two sisters, one very young, like 5 or 6, one's like 16. There's a brother that looks like 13, but then the mom asks him to drive, so I guess he's like 16, 17 as well. And there's a mom, Alyssa Sutherland. She's the best part of the movie. Much like Corey in Halloween Ends, she pretty much carries this turd. Great actress, did a great job. I have nothing but praise for her. Everyone else, horrible. The aunt, the sister that shows up, she couldn't hold Ash's jockstrap, man. She is so fucking generic. I don't even remember her name. I guess the thing, they make her the quote-unquote Ash of this movie, but I don't know her fucking name. I don't know any of the characters' names. I don't remember. It's like, maybe I'm just going crazy or something. Maybe I've watched too many other movies lately, but I just could not bring myself to care or make note of these names, or maybe they just weren't said enough. I don't really know. But she's like a sound tech for bands and stuff. Her sister calls her like a groupie or whatever. It's beside the point. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really play into anything, but that's what she is. Like the mom, played by Alyssa Sutherland, her husband left, and the sister shows up and doesn't know because they don't keep in contact that much. But like nobody, it doesn't really matter. We don't ever meet the guy, but it's brought up constantly throughout the movie. You know what I mean? Like the dad left. Okay, he went to the store to get cigarettes and never came back. I've heard this a million times. It's revealed at the start too that the sister is pregnant, but it's not late stage pregnancy, so there's no real drama with that knowledge. It's just this random plot point thrown in, and I can't really figure out why. It's alluded to and brought up a little bit. Even the Deadite brings it up, but it's like really early stage pregnancy, and we don't know who the dad is. It's so who fucking cares? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point? It doesn't really factor into anything. It doesn't tie in anything. I don't understand it. We had some characters, some neighbors in the apartment complex that are very, very shallow, just basically NPCs with very limited dialogue. They're basically just there to die. And that's fine, but I don't know, man. There's just nothing to really sink your teeth into. There's nothing that makes me give a fuck about anyone in the movie. And I'm not saying this has to be written like Citizen Kane or I don't know, The Godfather or something. I'm not expecting that, but give me something to sink my teeth into. Give me a little depth to these people. That they're just, I don't know, it's just weird. It's like an AI wrote this script for the human being. Like this is what humans do. Let's write it and put it in the script. So anyway, during this 40-minute long intro, I guess, to these characters, this 40-minute long kind of setup, there's an earthquake. The kids are coming back from getting pizza and they're in the parking lot, and a big hole opens up. And under this shitty apartment complex is just the Necronomicon. How did it get there? Maybe some construction workers were feeling a little, I don't know, satanic after listening to too much AC/DC in the 70s or 80s or something. I'm not sure, but either way, this kid finds the Necronomicon, finds a vinyl record, plays it on his speakers. Shit gets summoned to the apartment complex. It overtakes the mom, and she's the first Deadite. And finally, after like 40 fucking minutes of all this, which is just, I'm telling you guys, even if you like the movie, can we all agree that this opening part is just, it's just boring? I don't know. After 40 minutes, though, she gets possessed, and it starts out with her making eggs in a pan. It made me think, like, wow, this would be a lot more interesting if this took place in a Denny's or something. And these eggs would kind of make more sense. I don't know why she's just making eggs. She's just throwing eggs into a pan and saying creepy shit. So I don't know if they meant that to be scary, because it's not funny, but I digress. And then she just kind of drops dead. And then she comes back to life. And I want to reiterate here, I think Alyssa Sutherland did a great job. She's the mom, the main Deadite, and she did great. Everybody else, I mean, it's not even the actors and actresses' fault. I don't want to blame them. I don't want to throw them under the bus. They all did fine with what they had to work with, but you can't turn chicken shit into chicken salad. You know, like the script's just not there. So no character except the mom is interesting, and she's the main Deadite. So that's kind of what we have to work with the entire movie. I could see people liking this movie just based on her and her performance, but she's got to carry several other just generic, boring, sloggy, stupid characters, and it just does not work, in my opinion. Also, I want to kind of go over the Deadites, specifically her lines. Now, these are demons from hell. You expect them to say some pretty vile shit, or at least some shit that kind of falls in line with the Evil Dead universe. If you think back to Evil Dead 1 or whatever, it's more like, I don't know, old school and cryptic in this, but in this it's more insulting. So you're thinking probably in your head, it's kind of like The Exorcist or whatever. Linda Blair's character, when she gets possessed, says some really vile shit, you know? She says, and I quote, your mother sucks cocks in hell, I believe, is one of the things she says over and over. I haven't seen Exorcist in a minute, but I believe that's, you know, in the movie. And you kind of expect that in this from what I'm describing, right? Her being more insulting. But no, it's more like Disney took over and put like a filter over a 4chan insult or something. There's a lot of use of the word stinkin'. I believe, and I could be wrong here, I've only seen the movie once, please forgive me if I'm misphrasing this, but I believe she says something to the effect of, you're a stinking dirty slut, or something like that. And I'm thinking, like, that's not even really an insult, man. Like, I don't know. Me and my friends call each other stuff like that all the time. Maybe not stinking dirty sluts, but I'm just like, it's a little kind of tame for a demon from hell. And it's that way throughout the whole movie. There's a part at the end, spoilers, where one of the Deadites is just like, "You're gonna be a bad mom." It's just like, okay, I don't know. Say something like, "I'm gonna punt your cunt across the fucking mountains after I floss with your pubic hair." Just something like that. Like, give us something a little bit more vile. It's a small little nitpick. Some would call it a shit pick even, but again, these are demons from hell, man. You could literally have them say whatever you want. You can have them just drop racial slurs all movie. It'd probably be fine. Directed by Quentin Tarantino, you know? Maybe he should make an Evil Dead movie. Anyway, the point is that they could have done a lot more with the dialogue in that regard. There's nothing I haven't seen before in this movie, and I've seen it done better. Like, that part, whenever the Deadites, like, talking trash, reminds me of just a bad Exorcist, and a lot of the parts in the movie just remind me of the old Evil Deads, but worse. And I don't know, that should just be the tagline for this movie, like the old Evil Deads, but worse. I think that the 2013, I believe it's 2013 remake is just better than this in every way. There are some decent moments. There's a part where one of the Deadites gets lit on fire, which I thought was pretty cool. There's the chainsaw part at the end, which I thought was decent. Like, but it's just gore with no substance. And I'm not saying this has to be written like Citizen Kane or whatever. But let's take like Terrifier, for instance. Like, that's a lot of gore, but it's kind of goofy. It's kind of campy. Art the Clown's very charismatic and funny and interesting and entertaining. There are a lot of things you can do without writing complex scripts even. You know, you can have this gore and stuff like that. You can have this be very, very intense and bloody and whatnot. But, like, do something new with it. Just recently, I mentioned this earlier, but I watched Men. And there's a part towards the end of Men, if you've seen that, where it just goes balls to the fucking wall. It goes balls to the wall with just grotesque kind of body horror. I'm not going to spoil that, but I'm just going to say it involves like birthing stuff. And there's so many cool things they could do. And I thought that was a glimmer of hope, because I thought they were going to do something cool. They alluded that the Deadites were all going to form into this weird thing-like creature. That's another thing. This movie reminded me of The Thing when it got to that part, but worse. You know, like John Carpenter's The Thing. I expected it to look fucking awesome, but it looks like something I'd see on Pornhub instead. It's like the main mom is the main Deadite for this creature that, it's like this weird spider creature with a bunch of heads. It sounds cool, but you don't really see it. And when you do see it, again, it looks like something you'd see on Pornhub. You see the mom, like, you know, up close, and you see a bunch of people behind her. You get what I'm saying, right? It just doesn't work. As someone who's a pretty big Evil Dead fan, especially the first movie, one of my favorite horror movies of all time, seen it probably 20 times at this point, I don't see why this movie was even made. I don't see the point of it other than to just make some money, which I get that, you know, the movies need to make money. I understand. I'm sure it's a box office smash, and I'm sure that if you aren't really familiar with Evil Dead, or maybe you're not like a lifelong horror fan or whatever, this movie's probably fine. It's done well. Like, it's as far as the production quality, as the sound design, the makeup, special effects, it's all done well. I don't want to take away that from it, but it falls completely fucking flat for making me care. Everything they've done, every single thing they've done in this movie, I have seen it all before, and I've seen it done better, and I've seen it done with more intriguing characters. I'm not sure what the writers were actually doing here. I think it was probably like a feminist agenda thing, because halfway through the movie, or you see this thing on one of the characters' doors front and center. So the director, and everybody wants you to see it, it says something to the effect of, feminism is not a dirty word in this house, or something like that. When I saw that, I just kind of predicted, like, hey, all the male characters are probably just going to die, and it's just going to be female characters from here on out. And I was right. And that's fine. Like, you can have a movie with all female characters. I'm not knocking it for that, but it seems like they're way more focused on that than writing quality material, like writing characters that fucking matter. Writing a movie that is going to stand the test of time. There's absolutely nothing done in this movie that hasn't been done better in some other horror movie I've seen. I'm sorry. Like, maybe I'm just spoiled by other stuff I've seen, but I cannot get behind this. It's just not engaging at all. And, you know, going back to Men or whatever, Alex Garland, he's the director of that. He directed Annihilation as well, which is a sci-fi, not really horror, but like more of a sci-fi movie. A little bit of body horror in there as well, but it had an all-female cast, and it was just because it was written that way. There was no agenda behind it. It's not trying to meet like diversity quotas or whatever, trying to make a horror movie with just women or whatever. It's made that way. And it's a good movie. I like it, But anyway, guys, I'm out of time. Let me know what you thought of Evil Dead Rise below. I'll probably get some hate on this, and that's fine. I get that I'm probably in the minority here, but I feel like this is just doesn't do anything new, and maybe that's what people want. Maybe people just want the same exact thing, but worse, that they've seen before. I kind of get it. As a Friday the 13th fan, you could just put Jason in any scenario, I'll probably watch it. So I kind of get it. But final rating with this, I'd probably have to give it a 4.5 out of 10. I never want to see it again. I think it slogs through the first half of the movie, and then by the time you get to the second half, if you are a horror fan, it's just gonna feel really, really tired. Everything they tried to do to make this stand out, again, it's just been done better before. There's nothing unique here. There's nothing profound. There's nothing new going on. It's the same old shit. It's okay if you're just here for the gore. I'd say give it a watch if you are. If you just want to see some gore, some special effects. But I can't really recommend it, 4.5 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Even if it's a downvote, you can downvote me. It's fine. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.